so it was a very exciting Supercross weekend, but we did watch a couple other things a little bit.
Yes. So I think I'm going to talk about.
Yes.
So I did tune into the Rolex 24-hour race at Daytona. However, at the time that I tuned in, it was unfortunately that very long section of the safety car procedure due to the fog.
Which is fair because you tuned in after we had come home from Supercross.
So it was already late at night.
Yeah.
And it was even later, obviously, in Florida.
Yeah.
And I had it on for quite a while, like next to me, but it was just unfortunately the whole time was safety car procedure. It was a little bit of a bummer. And then so this morning, then we tuned back in and we saw like the last 2 minutes, and it was really awesome to see Felipe Nasser win 3 years in a row with Porsche Penske. Of course, super excited to see Porsche doing so well in IMSA. That maybe also explains that they pulled back from some of the things there because they're like, hey, listen, we're doing so good over here, and let's put our focus in there. And like the hypercar has been doing really well.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can translate that into the WEC.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really awesome to see. It was also obviously very emotional for him.
Yeah, I mean, because he has this big, I mean, the commentator was talking about that he had, right before his F1 career, he had raced at Daytona in like a sports car for the very first time, and he had apparently this like spiritual connection or what, it was just such a special experience for him, so he always wanted to come back. And now he's been back multiple times, and he's won it 3 times.
People are like, stay away. You've won enough.
Because he's one of the very few riders who have now, or drivers who have now won it 3 times, but I think the only one who has had a back-to-back-to-back streak, which is, it's huge.
I mean, because the thing about it in 24 hours, even if you watch just a 4-hour or 6-hour race, which is just a fraction of a 24-hour race, so much can go wrong and so many things can happen because, you know, the moment there's a safety car, boom, race gets neutralized and all the hard work that you put in, right? We had the Iron Dames lead a Le Mans race for 12 hours and they did not end up winning. You know, you can literally lead half of the race and then something happens. So it is what a huge achievement, not only by him and by the other drivers, but also by the whole team because unlike the drivers, the pit crew, they just sleep, or if they in the chairs, like it's really hard work for them because there's no like substitute. After 6 hours someone else will come in. No, it's only the drivers, and rightfully so, the drivers are sleeping because they need to be the ones the most focused.
I mean, because they drive at very high speeds because they're literally racing for 24 hours.
Absolutely, but I'm just saying, like, there's a reason why they're obviously sleeping. You can't be sleep deprived racing. It's just going to lead to accidents. But, and I'm sure in some way they're tired, you know?
Yeah.
But still, you know, you guys get the point. But it's just a huge achievement. And a part of me wished I could have watched more, but but I didn't want to be on my phone while we were at Supercross. I don't want to be that person that is like on my phone while there's other things happening in real life.
Yeah.
I don't have to be that. I think if we would have maybe sat down in the brewery, I would have maybe pulled it up.
Fair.
But because we were all constantly going, I'm like, let's enjoy Supercross right here.
I think that's fair. But I think also, I mean, I know you love watching it, and I join you on occasions for it, but it's just so incredibly impressive. 24 hours. I think sometimes people don't understand quite what a emotional, physical and mental feat it is.
It is insane.
Because it when you think about it, it almost feels like torture.
Well, the thing about it is, like, you have to be so locked in. So if you've never sim raced, right? Yeah. And if you have a racing game at home, right? Even if it's with a controller, take it and then do 20 laps and make no mistake, right? And this is 20 laps, right? So what is that? Maybe depending on on the track, it's like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So don't make a mistake. And then there's these drivers out there that are in the car for 2-3 hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes at a time, sometimes not. And they're locked in, right? And that is, and they're not only like just driving whatever, they're hitting a mark every single lap, right? There's deteriorating tires, you like constantly things are changing that you have to adapt to. And it is, in a way, to me, almost like, besides I think what you're going to talk about, also a very masterclass form of racing, in my opinion. You know, you have like F1, the pinnacle of motorsport, but it's single seater, right? Yeah. But like these endurance races are just like, I think like they're just fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's just a different, can you say caliber? Yeah.
Caliber.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I wasn't sure does it translate to English as well. But it's a different, just so different, but just so excellent as well. Like you just have to be still the top in your category, because I don't think every F1 driver could do that without preparation. No, because it's its own unique challenge. Like they could translate their skills to it, but it's a different level of endurance that they are able to handle.
Yeah, I do think they could probably do it pretty quickly, just because their car, because they are already able to put in so many hours in a sim.
Oh, of course. I'm not saying that that's impossible for them, but it will still take preparation.
But it's a different beast.
Yes.
Yeah, but either way, it's really impressive, and props to anyone who obviously attended. I think it's also probably really cool. I want to attend at some point a 24-hour race.
Yeah.
And then be like this in the chair, and then be one of the people that is caught on the camera sleeping. So you also watched a little bit something else.
Yes, as promised. I made a commitment, so I'm trying to stick to it. I didn't get to watch all of it, but I watched some of the World Rally Championships, Rally Monte-Carlo. Of course, this was the kickoff to the season. The Rally Monte-Carlo is always in January, always the first rally of the season. So I really wanted to make it a point to watch it, just because it is also such a legendary rally. So I didn't watch all the legs. I watched a good recap, and then I watched the final stage on Sunday, the Wolf Power stage, which was still a great leg to watch, because the overall stage win was still up for contention. So the big ones, of course, competing in rally, or some of the big names that we have, are Neuville, Belgium, multiple champ. We have Katsuta, the Japanese driver for Mo, Ogier, or Ogier? I don't know. Sorry.
He was just in Dakar.
Yeah, Evans. And Solberg is a new quote-unquote rookie. He came from WRC2. He had done a race last year in a top rally car, which he ended up winning, the Rally Estonia. But this year he has a full ride or full seat in the top category, and he came out with a bang. And it was so exciting, not only to watch, I'm so glad I get to catch this season from the beginning, and I hope he's going to keep it interesting. He, of course, comes from a family of
rally racers.
His dad was a famous rally racer who had never won Monte-Carlo, so it's like a nice little...
He was like, loser dad.
feather in his cap.
I'm sure that's the first thing he said to him.
But it was also just so nice to see how, in a way, proud and excited the other drivers were for him.
Yeah.
We're one that there's new blood in the competition, because I think rally sometimes has a little bit trouble getting... Yes.
Like new fresh blood in it.
Yeah.
But I think isn't that also that one of the really great drivers, he just switched to F2?
Oh,
remember?
Yes, that's true. But so it's exciting that we have some fresh blood in there that might switch things up a little bit. He kept it very interesting for sure. On Thursday, he was able to ride out a 30-second lead, which kind of started to set the tone for him. And he ended up keeping the lead from then and was able to take the overall rally win. So congratulations to him.
Also with like a good buffer.
Yeah, almost. Like a very, very good buffer.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, the Rally Monte-Carlo was also incredibly difficult this year. It was one of the most trickiest in, I think they said, the past 13 or so years, just because of weather. I mean, this last stage alone, which was so incredible to watch. Because they go up a mountain essentially, and then they go out down on the other side. And if you start at the bottom, you have like a little bit of mushy, melted snow. You go up and you get into snow and ice. You come back down through snow and ice, and then eventually you get to a part where it's like almost dry tarmac.
It's
like
just difficult for the tire too, right?
The change of conditions, you have to make the right tire choices right from the get-go. For example, also Thierry Neuville, he didn't have a lot of options because he had run out of tires due to things that happened throughout the...
So he had only a wet tire left, right?
No, he had 2 tires with spikes and then 2, I think, wet tires or other tires. So he had to like balance that also.
Okay.
And then at one point he had lost grip because one of his tires couldn't get the right grip. So that hurt him in the end a little bit. But it was so exciting. I'm so glad I watched even just the last leg of it. And which I also had the epiphany is that it wasn't too long of a time commitment, which was nice. Like it was like an hour, which included all, I think it was the top 12 racers that we ended up watching racing. Plus they did a recap of all the previous legs or most of the, just
like
to keep us up to date to know what is happening or where we are at this point. So it was really, really exciting to see. I'm so glad I ended up watching it because it's just incredibly impressive, the speeds that they go. And there was also a moment where they did a recap where was it, I forgot who, somebody went down a hill and then the fans just went behind and the camera from inside the car catches them like pushing and directing like go, and it's just such a special atmosphere.
Yeah, tell me a different motorsports that where you can help where the audience helps push you back on track.
Literally,
you know, that's rally.
Yes,
right?
And I think that's such a cool experience, and also just seeing the audience like go, like they're so fired up because they see boom. Yeah. That's all they see. Yeah. And it's so exciting.
Yeah, and then you have to wait for the next person. Boom.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yes, very glad I got to watch it. The next one coming up is Rally Sweden. So, technically for Solberg,
what is that, 3 weeks?
It's a home race.
Okay.
So that's going to be, I think it's in 3 weeks. It's on the 12th through the 15th of February.
Yeah, so 3 weeks.
And then so they're going to go to another snow kind of wintry race. And then they're going to go complete opposite for the safari in Kenya,
which also I think we've seen clips of it before. Very beautiful,
gorgeous. I mean, that's what I
think. Rally is definitely the racing where you get the best scenery.
Yes, 100%. Dakar Rally, like cross rally raid, and then also just the World Rally Championship. It's just because it's so diverse, which I'm excited to see.
It looks quite Eurocentric.
Yes.
I mean, I think that is with a lot of racing, but there's also, you know, they're going to the Canaries, right?
Yeah.
They're going to Paraguay, Saudi Arabia. Then there's, so it is very Eurocentric. It is, but Kenya and stuff like that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And also there's Japan and things like that. So I'm still excited. I'm
Chile,
hoping to watch more of it. So that's definitely the goal moving forward.
Yeah.
So I'm fired up about my first experience this week. But I think that's all I have to say about the World Rally Championship. I know we had a couple other things that we wanted to touch on.
So just 2 brief things, I'd say. So one of them is that Kimi Antonelli was one of the torchbearers for the Milano Cortina Olympics that are coming up.
The Winter Olympics?
Winter Olympics. They're coming up in a week and a half.
Yes.
And so there's a picture of him with him carrying the torch, which is really, really awesome.
Super.
Super excited for him that he had the honor to do that.
Yes.
I mean, that's just a really cool thing. And then I did have something that I wanted to bring up, and that is, where is it? Sorry, I have to pull it up again. So, I don't know if you remember, but Alex Palou was in a lawsuit with McLaren.
Oh, yes. I vaguely remember.
So this happened back in 2022. This is how long this has been going on.
Yes.
And so now that has a decision been made.
Oh, because he was supposed to get an F1 seat. Is that right?
So he was supposed to race for McLaren.
Yes.
And then he dropped out before and he went somewhere else. And then because he was like, well, McLaren said I would get an F1 seat.
Yes.
And McLaren is like, that's not what we said. And then so now there's a settlement. It came to a settlement, and Alex has to pay McLaren $12 million.
He has to pay them?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I have it pulled up right here. So let me just read a few highlights. So this right here. So this is from Zach. So originally. So this was a 5-week-long trial. McLaren initially sought almost $30 million in damages, but that number was reduced to $20.7 million as the racing juggernaut sought to reclaim money allegedly lost in sponsorship, driver salaries, and performance earnings. because Alex was obviously supposed to race for them. And then he was like, no, thank you. And then this is what Zach Brown said. This is an entirely appropriate result for McLaren Racing. As the ruling shows, we clearly demonstrated we fulfilled every single contractual obligation towards Alex and fully honored what had been agreed. We thank the court for recognizing the very significant commercial impact and disruption our business suffered as a result of Alex's breach of contract with the team. McLaren added it is still seeking interest and reimbursement of its legal expenses. Then Palou was not ordered to pay anything related to Formula One losses. McLaren said it suffered when Palou decided to remain with Chip Ganassi Racing rather than moving to McLaren's Indy car team in 2024. So this has been going on for a hot minute. And then Alex Palou said the court has dismissed in their entirety McLaren's Formula One claims against me, which once stood at almost $15 million. The court's decision shows that claims against me were completely overblown. It's disappointing that so much time and cost was spent fighting these claims, some of which the court found had no value, simply because I choose not to drive for McLaren after I learned they wouldn't be able to give me an F1 drive. Okay. I'm disappointed that any damages have been awarded to McLaren. They have not suffered any loss because of what they have gained from the driver who replaced me. I'm considering my options with my advisors and have no further comment to make at this point. Palou has won 3 consecutive IndyCar titles and the Indianapolis 500 since the saga began midway through 2022 season. He has 4 IndyCar titles in the last 5 years. So him saying that McLaren didn't lose anything, not by signing him, doesn't really make sense. Like, I am usually, like, I want to say this, I'm always against the man.
Yes.
Right? And in this case, the man
well,
is McLaren.
you're against the, yes.
That's what I meant. In this case, it's that. Not against an individual person, right?
Yes.
But, like, against the institution,
yes.
right? Just want to set this out. But what is said here sounds to me, this is what I think has happened. And I have no insight, and this is all speculation.
Yes.
Okay? So please correct me if I'm wrong. But I think either whoever was on his team didn't read his contract properly, right? Because if they're saying McLaren fulfilled everything that they were supposed to, and you're saying I didn't get an F1 seat that was promised to me, I think there was probably conversations that were like, if you show potential or whatever, and then maybe you could, there is maybe but I don't think there was ever an actual promise. You know, there's probably encouragement because you want your driver to be motivated.
Of course.
But in the end, also, you can't blame McLaren, who had Oscar Piastri probably lined up at some point, and now you have 2 guys fighting for championships. You're not replacing them with someone from Indy who, historically seen, people who come from Indy going to F1 have not been doing well. And sure, there might be an exception at some point, but it seems like a terrible gamble for McLaren to make. If you have Oscar and Lando, you have the champion, and you have someone who was very close to becoming a champion.
And going back to your point, it's also that McLaren clearly
lost
out on a lot because he ended up winning back-to-back Indy
which
championships.
He needed to in order to pay us $12 million.
Yes.
I mean, who knows if this is going to go into another set of like, hey, we're going to fight this, appeals.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly the ins and outs of it. I'm obviously not a lawyer. But it seems to me that this was, currently it makes Alex look not that good, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I have not followed the whole thing, so I don't know.
Just based off this.
And I don't know if things ended up being the point, because my point of view that I had always only heard about was that he was chipped by not getting an F1 seat, which he was promised. Now it's also about the losses that McLaren has made, which I had not heard about previously or considered, but I also have not looked into it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, definitely not. It did not end well for Alex.
No, not at all. And also like his argument to be like, well, they didn't lose anything by signing someone else, but it's like, mate, you've been winning. So clearly they've been losing out, because if he would have not won, right? And they would have won the whole time, I could have been like, okay, you could argue that. But you cannot argue that if you're the winner. It's like saying like Red Bull would have been okay with losing Max if Max yeah, but then Max wins 4 championships back to back. You know, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Yeah, fair. So
it's just like, obviously maybe there's more intricacies, but this also goes back, like, guys, read your contract, read what you're signing, and make sure that this is what you want, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is easy to say right here, but I'm hoping that a driver like Alex also has negotiating power, you know?
Yeah, or has a team that
helps him negotiate for what he wants.
I don't know.
That is very interesting. I was surprised when I saw that he has to pay McLaren, because I think up until then I was under the conception that it's like, oh yeah, McLaren, you guys better pay up.
Well, yeah, because I also didn't realize that there was this other point of view that they're arguing.
Yeah,
that's what I've been saying, and I had no clue that was part of the argument as well, which definitely hurt him, because he can't argue. It in my eyes, at least, from the little bit that I know, he can't argue that McLaren didn't lose anything when he took the crown multiple times.
And also the thing about this is, like, with having a championship winning driver, you get those type of sponsorships, right?
No, of course.
So this is like a snowball. So he should have just not won.
Oh, well.
No, you did the right thing by winning, because first of all, you need that money now.
Yeah.
And then second of all, it's like in like 20 years, or probably in 5 years from now, you're gonna be happy that you won these championships, and not that you you don't have to pay McLaren. I got him.
Fair.
But that's all I had.
Yes. Yeah.
I thought that was very interesting.
Yes. The only last thing I just remembered that I just want to bring up, for people who might be in Florida, Daytona specifically, because there is a documentary that was just released about Felipe Nasr, about his road to Le Mans, essentially. It's called To Die For.
Okay, chill,
and it's unlimited release in some movie theaters. I tried to see if I
was
can.
Just like online.
No, it's actually in limited release right now. It's also an IMAX in Daytona. That's why I'm saying. Lit. If you're in Florida, maybe you can catch it, because I would definitely be curious to watch it. So I'm going to keep an eye out to see if I can find it anywhere in the future, so I can maybe share my thoughts on it. But yeah, so if you're in the Florida area, or check your local theaters in case the movie or the documentary is streaming or showing somewhere, To Die For. It's about Felipe Nasr's road preparation to Le Mans. And that's all I have to say for today. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Like and subscribe. And then we will be seeing you guys here very soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.